Welcome inside the kennel. The heartbeat of the dog gang. Where real breeders break down real experiences. And the experts drop the knowledge you can't Google. We talking structure, bloodlines, nutrition, training, wins, losses, and everything that makes champions in and out of the ring. This is for the ones who live it, breathe it, and build it, one lit at a time. Your host, Kevin, Ben, and Roderick. Lock in.
All right, everybody. It's Kevin back again with
Ben Hood from Hoodland Kennels.
this week we're going to discuss. Benny went to the show. I don't even remember what the name of it was.
It was Bully Dex and
The Bully
Gonzalez.
Deck and Gonzalez. So, how was it?
I thought it was a pretty good show. You know, it was probably a mid-sized show. I bet you there was 100 people, maybe a little more in the building. But it wasn't so crowded you couldn't move around. It was, and it's a pretty good vibe. Like, you know, it wasn't
a lot of the smaller shows usually are pretty good vibes, and you get people. Most of the people are there to show for a registry, if there was a registry there.
There it was
ICBR, wasn't
yeah,
it?
the ICBR. Yeah,
Yeah.
They had a double show, and then they had the fun show. That's what we're concentrating on because, you know, my boys and myself, we're new to the show. So we're doing all the embarrassing shit at the fun show, so we don't get out there and trip over ourselves on the
Right.
the sanctioned shows.
So, any gripes, complaints, positives? I mean, that's
Well, I guess, you know, we were definitely not from there.
Right.
A lot of people, those smaller show like that, like a lot of people seem to know each other.
right.
And we were not, and I don't think we done I guess a surprising thing for me, or it shouldn't be, is like I don't have as much time to network or walk around and meet people
Yeah.
when I'm there with my kids, because, you know, I'm chewing on their ass about their body language and stuff in the ring. And I guess I learned a valuable lesson is when you got teenagers, it ain't no need to argue with them. I just started recording them.
Right.
And,
Yeah, that's
and then brung it back and showed them the video after each time. Like, this is what I'm talking about. They finally started listening in, you know, because they were bad about. They would just get bored up there when they were waiting for the judge to come around, and they'd be readjusting that dog 7 times.
Yeah.
And when I asked Ben why he did it, he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "All right, well, I'm gonna record this happening."
yeah. You know, and the networking and stuff. The shows are great, but if, like you're saying, if you're spending a lot of time in the ring, or your kids are in the ring, and you're having to watch them to teach them and all that, it's hard to network and learn. I always tell people I make more money on the outside of the ring than putting the dog in the ring. Even though we put Flair in a ring and champed him out, it was after his big run. I mean, he wasn't as busy as he was at the beginning. There's no way I could have taken him to the shows and put him in the show ring, and there's no money for a stud inside the show ring that you're trying to really promote.
Well, you know, but you know, they did place. Brantley placed second. That was the first time he's placed in a dog show in the Best Blue.
Right.
And Ben got, I can't remember if it was the third in the Fluffy or third in the Isabella, but they both got something to bring home, so they didn't think it was a wasted trip. They had a good time.
Right.
And it was a trip. It was 5 hours one way.
Now, to play devil's advocate, small shows and I'm gonna piss a lot of people off, but you'll see a lot of favoritism going on, and I don't care what they say, who says they're not, whatever. Just by human nature, they do it.
Well, I will say this: there was 2 classes for sure that I didn't. Being new to the show deal, like I don't think that I'm an end all be all on what should have been.
Right.
But there was 2 classes there that I was like, bullshit. And but the rest of them, I don't know. You could choke it up or chalk it up to a style of dog.
Right.
There was, I don't know if that was the preference, or if the people was a preference, or if it was both a preference. But they're definitely like the winners of several classes was a different style dog than we took.
Right.
For sure.
And before anybody hears this and goes straight to Zoe Lopez talking, they were talking match. We're going to have him on the podcast here pretty soon. So
yeah, we've been talking to him, trying to work out the timing.
This ain't something that we're just blasting out there, and he ain't going to get to come on here and tell his side of it or how he felt his show went or any of that. So anything said is not really derogatory towards his show, but.
Yeah, I don't know that it's derogatory at all. I mean, nobody's going to be 100% on the show. Like I said a while ago, like I thought overall, I would go back.
Now,
but there are like I'm never going to go to any. You're never going to go to any show where every classic gets judged. You're like, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Right.
I mean, like, I think this was more fair, if that's the proper way to say it, than Frenchie Bowl.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. The smaller shows, especially the smaller shows, tend, even though there might be some favoritism on, and I'm not talking all the classes across the board, it's that way, but there'll be one or two in there that you can see that, hey, somebody's buddy got a trophy. But when you get into Frenchie Bowl, and I love Frenchie Bowl, and this ain't a knock on Marcus and them, there's some people out there that try to promote themselves through that show, and they know by picking a dog, it gives them an in with some breeders in some areas that they normally couldn't reach. So,
I'll give you the example, the one that really pissed me off at Frenchie Bowl. Now, I'll go back. I enjoy the show, and I really don't think that the fun shows, like, you can't take them too serious. I think, anyways, you're mostly there just to show your dog, get your dog out in front of people and network. But that class with White Boy, the guy that was directly to the left of me, couldn't even stack his goddamn dog.
Right.
He kept sliding back, and so he kept cheating forward to get on the grass instead of the area they had to stack the dogs. And they kept telling him he had to go back, but he wouldn't go back because his dog couldn't stack, couldn't even stand. And everybody else, there's probably 8 or 10 people in that class. Everybody else is where you're supposed to be, but he's up, 4 foot in front of us on the grass, so his dog could actually stack and not slide around or whatever.
yeah.
And then they gave him a place. Like, that was bullshit. Now, I understand it's a fun show.
But I don't care. It is a dog show, and key word there is dog show. It's not a people show. So the dog should be judged first. And then if the dogs are really close, you have to start going into how they're handled and the person handle them. How do they handle that dog? That's the second part of that. And that's where judges lose it.
That is a dog problem. If it can't stack.
Oh, I know.
That is a problem with the dog.
Yeah, there was no need even going on to the next person because the dog couldn't stack. So he shouldn't have even been looked at because,
after they told him he had to move back and he said, no, my dog can't stand, it's too slick. But you got 9 other dogs that's doing it. Hey man, this ain't your day.
Right. And I've had to say that. We put Flair in the show ring. Ari used to have a handful. Sometimes he just didn't want to be in the show ring, and it just wasn't our day. And he wasn't going to act right in there. He didn't want to do it, and he wasn't going to do it. But, so the judging is always debatable, always. Somebody's going to leave extremely happy. Somebody's going to leave mad. Some people are going to be like, yeah, I can see that, but the thing that I heard the most about that I seen online was there was a category sponsored and also won by the people sponsoring it.
I know what you're talking about. I seen that class, and it was, I guess if it's the one that I thought it was a free class. It was pretty early on, and it was, you gonna say the group or
and it's no knock on them. It is Ari and her mom, Amorous, Freaky Cartel. They're out there doing their thing. That girl is killing it all over the United States. Has been since she was showing Flair. But and this ain't a shot at them. This is where I'm going with it. As a show host, you cannot have somebody sponsor a category and then enter that category.
Right, it's a bad look.
That is a conflict of interest, because no matter if that, because I'm going to tell you right now, because from what I understand, it was a stack off. And I'm sorry, but if Ari put Sheamus in a stack off, chances are every dog in there is getting beat, because that dog is the stack off king. I got trophies here right now that I can prove it.
Oh yeah, I watch them, man. They would just take that dog out there and lay the lead down its back, down its tail, and then just stand there and let him, and he didn't move.
He's been that way since he was little. I mean, they have always killed it in the stack offs. So I'm not saying that dog didn't deserve to win. I'm just saying that dog shouldn't have been in there if they sponsored it. I mean, they just...
Well, evidently a lot of people agreed with that.
So
because otherwise there wouldn't have been a bunch of bitching online, right?
But I mean, you have to go to the opposite side of that. I see Olivia Russell that throws the Lady Talk Bully Walk. She was at that show. She goes on Facebook and says, if you sponsor a category for my show, you can still enter it. No, you can't. That is wrong.
Well, you can, but you invite this.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're inviting people to trash you online when that camp wins that trophy.
And I got to ask, so is because this is what I didn't understand with it, is it was a free class. Why was it worth it? Like, because that dog was going to, listen, that dog and her, they were going to win all throughout the day.
Right.
Why open yourself up?
That's what I'm saying. As a show host, there's so many things that can go wrong on a show day. And everybody is going, but you could have 1,000 things go right at that show and one thing go wrong. And that's all that's going to be talked about online.
Case in point.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. From everything else I read about that, heard about that show, it went off great. That was everybody's gripe, was how are you going to let somebody that sponsored the trophy enter the... I don't care if it was free or not.
I wonder how many of those people complaining were there, or if they just knew somebody was there, or their buddy told them that this happened. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't... Because if you were there, it wasn't the best look, but nobody there seemed to be bothered.
Well, again, if you was there, you probably seen that the dog deserved to win it.
Yeah. Well, and if you know the dog, you already know.
Right. And if anybody that's ever competed against that dog in a stack off ought to know he's hard to beat. I don't have a problem with them winning it, because there would have to be somebody there really good to have outperformed them. That's not the problem. What I'm saying is, as a show host, you look at it from a show side. You're just inviting people to criticize you for free, because they did a free class, but they sponsored the trophy for it. So that just it doesn't set well. I mean, it doesn't set well with a lot of people. That's the biggest thing. And
the crazy part of it is you can just pick a side here, because like they didn't charge for that class, so they didn't do anything wrong. But
right.
They did. It was a class that was sponsored by somebody, and etiquette. You could argue that the etiquette of that is and show in it.
We're arguing what we can actually see happen, right? Everything else that happens at a show sometimes is just speculation,
right? Unless
somebody gets some screenshots of some messages or something about a show being fixed, That's an episode for down the road when I get ready to blow the world up. But there's so much other stuff that really happens at shows that a lot of people don't even realize it's going on, because you just believe, oh, well, that guy wins everywhere. So, yeah. Well, you know what? There's a reason that guy wins everywhere. But I'm just saying that one isn't as bad as some of the other stuff that I know goes on in the show ring.
I don't even think it was bad. I think it's unfortunate, because like I said, I didn't know anybody there.
Right.
And me and my boys enjoyed ourselves. We had a good time. They won the classes, a couple of the classes they were in, or they placed in a couple of the classes they were in, and we didn't feel like we were slighted. It's unfortunate that stupid free class smirched. It allowed any negative talk on the internet. It gave life to haters.
Right.
it's unfortunate that I think it's a misstep. I think in the future, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll have him on, and he can put his side out there and how he feels about it or whatever. I mean, really ain't a right or wrong answer in that one. I mean, there is some people. It's either way. I mean, some people are going to agree with it. Some people are going to disagree with it. I mean, I was supposed to be part of a show, and I ain't gonna lie, I backed out. And I backed out because, man, there's just some stuff I'm not going to do. I'm just not going to rub elbows with certain breeders in this industry.
That's what I was just thinking to say is at the end of the day, you kind of got to give the man credit for putting it together and pulling it off is because I can't, man, I got 5 people in my house, and it is very rare that even for a dinner selection, I make everybody happy.
Oh, you're never going to make everybody happy at a show.
I can't imagine a goddamn dog show.
No, absolutely
the bitching
not.
And complaining leading up to that, worried about what.
And I give him a lot of credit because, and I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's from the English Bulldog world. So to pull in people from all the other brands being primarily English Bulldogs, he got a good crowd in there. I mean, he's getting a good following. I've seen him over the last few years, so they're doing good. And I know there's another guy that was in on that show with him. I just don't know who it was.
It was like Smush Face Frenchies.
Yeah,
I can't remember the gentleman's name.
I want to say his name was Sean, but I'm not sure. But from everything I heard, they threw a great show. Like I said, the only gripe that come out of it, and I don't care what show you go to, Frenchie Bowl is an example.
There's a lot there, though.
I mean, there is.
It's too many. There's too many people, and I think the people that are there, they're a little bit bigger than probably the majority per capita.
Right.
The level of breeders at Frenchie Bowl versus, and I ain't saying nothing bad about them, but they're just like hell. I was there at Bully Decks. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on that level, so like there was a lot of smaller. I guess what you would call smaller breeders.
And I look at it this way. The fun shows, you never know what you're going to get out of a judge or what they're going to do, because you can put the same dog in so many categories. And for me, if I was judging, there's going to come a point in the day when you're like, man, I can't give this dog another trophy, or they're just going to think I'm playing favorites, right?
Hell, I don't know.
And it's just a fun show, so...
I don't want to hear that, man, because you see what you do is you devalue Rubbles, Merle, up against Sub-Zero,
right?
Like you devalue that.
Nah,
just
you take
because
that win.
Sub-Zero won 8 categories that day, but he didn't win Best Merle,
right? So I mean, in that could have been strict a judge color preference, because I mean, and that's what other people people have to think about this: the color of dog you put in the show ring. People don't want to buy a black and tan Frenchie, but I'll guarantee you go to these littler shows and any of these shows, and those black and tans are kicking ass in the show ring. They're just a beautiful dog, a chocolate and tan. If it's different than what Seamus does so good, because he's a pied, and you don't get a lot of pieds. He's
Irish pied, right?
No, he's a straight up pied. He just looks Irish pied. So, but he's just got a different look, but he has that standard type build, so he does really good. People get tired of looking at straight up lilac and tans or Isabella and tans, and it's getting to where they don't even care about the Rojo and tans in the show ring anymore. But when we were showing, I loved to win, but I loved to win on the sanction side more when we was going for it, because I had to go up against true AKC style dogs. So if Ari went in the ring and done her thing with Flair, then we outperformed them. And I mean, we wasn't going against trash. I mean, we was going against Cece, that lady.
They got to be able to walk too.
Right.
It's not just stacking them off and getting them to be still. Like at the sanction show.
I tell everybody this. I think Flair and Ari was a perfect pairing. He was easy to work to get to do what she wanted. And when she first started out and didn't really know a whole lot, and she got a lot of help from a lot of people, pointers here and there and all that, and I taught her some, but they just worked well together. So now she can take that, and she learned. I think she struggled there for a minute after her and Flair had their breakup because the other dogs just didn't work like Flair. She just didn't have that connection. So that's the other thing. She's learned how to work a dog and not have that connection with it. So, but yeah, I don't know. The shows are what they are, but yeah,
Well, I'm hooked, man. That's what we're focusing on this year. We're going to do a bunch of fun shows, and then hopefully next year that'll move into sanctioned shows.
And back to that, I love the shows because you get to meet so many different people from all over the place. And we went to shows coast to coast, and we met people there. The best show I ever went to, I mean, it's not the best show. Yeah, for me it was. When we went to Colorado, we had some guys drive up. We was in Denver. I want to say they were in northern New Mexico, down at the bottom, Colorado or whatever. They wasn't going to go to the show or anything until they heard Flair was going to be there. And they brought their Fluffy specifically to go against Flair. I knew none of this as the show was going on, right? It was an ICBR. It was USBR, ICBR, and a fun show. Well, they didn't get there in time for the USBR side, but they got there for the ICBR side. And we beat them in the ICBR side of the Fluffies. And we beat them in the fun show and all that. And he finally come up and talked to me, and he's like, look, he said, we only come up here to go against him. He said, because it was a win-win for us. We needed to know where we stood as a kennel, what we had, and where we needed to go with it. And if we beat him, it was a plus for us because we knew we had something good. And I think the only thing that hurt them was it was just a cream Fluffy. There was no color. Flair's color popped more than him because he was a beautiful dog. And that's what I told him. I was like, he's beautiful. I mean, structure wise, there wasn't a whole lot of difference. It was color. So, but you meet people like that. I mean, on the other hand, and I don't give a shit. Everybody can tell her to kiss my ass, but Sugar Frenchies is a bitch. I don't even know who that is. She headhunted Flair. And here you go. Here's one of y'all's example. Went to El Paso to a show. She was gunning for Flair. She was sleeping with the judge. And
it's a bold strategy.
She had just won in California from this judge. They came to El Paso with the whole intent that Flair was going to show up to that show and her dog was going to beat Flair. He's just a blue and tan Fluffy. He ain't nothing special. She thinks he is, but he ain't. And neither is she. But beside the point, I didn't go because I got a call. I was going to go. I was given a free booth to go. And somebody messaged me and was like, bro, don't show up down here with Flair. They already got the fix in on you. And I'm like, what? And it's like, yeah, Sugar Frenchie's going to beat Flair. Eleanor Torres. She's going to beat Flair. And I thought, man, there's no way this is going to happen. Now, Pete Ellis, unbeknownst to what mine and her squabble was, right? Fix is already in for the show. Pete Ellis shows up down there with Mr. Banks. And I don't care. Mr. Banks worked in the ring. To beat Pete Ellis and Mr. Banks back then, you really had to be doing something.
Well, he does a bunch of shows now. Like
So he's at that show. They call up the Fluffy Frenchies. She don't even have a show lead for this dog. She brings it in the ring with a harness on it with a handle on its back. That's how she showed this dog, in the show ring. And they gave her the trophy. Oh, tell me these shows ain't freaking rigged. I was told beforehand. But all I'm going to say is turnabout's fair play. So, I know Pete was pissed off, but hey, what comes around goes around. You just can't. And from that day forward, and it's like I told her, you're comparing apples to oranges. Flair's a Rojo and tan. He's loaded with DNA. You got a basic ass DNA Fluffy over there. It better be better than Flair because they've been out long enough. A blue and tan Fluffy should have been better than a Rojo Fluffy. But I seen it at Frenchie Bowl. And any day she's ready, I'll stack Flair up against that dog. So she ain't got shit.
It seems like this November would be a good time going and
And the
lock
funny
that
thing of it
in.
is, she thought she was somebody special and brought that big ass blue and tan and set it down next to little Ricky. And Rob and little Ricky sent her ass right out the ring. So she got her some of that flare blood and she didn't like it. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And that goes into why I'm not throwing a show. Because I wasn't guaranteed.
Ever? You out of the show forever?
I'm not saying I'm never going to throw a show. But Taylor and Al are great people. They're all right. But who they deal with in the dog world and who I deal with in the dog world are two different worlds. And you would think, well, that's perfect because y'all can combine them. Nah. I have no interest in combining with that side of the dog world. Because that side of the dog world is Photoshop bullshit. Let me show up with nothing. Look at me. I'm in a bodysuit with big boobies.
You know, from somebody that's new to it, looking in, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of similarities to drag racing and what led to like the fall or the downturn. And it's cycles, right? And so like when Street Outlaws come out, they revived it.
Right.
And then little tracks like 7 Points and things like that started coming back and getting a regular following. You know, people showed up. And I think this dog show thing,
It's that way.
It does, because now your booths, they're priced to a point to where somebody like me, I gotta pick and choose. I can't afford, $1,500 for a booth, 2-3 times a month.
And that's another part of the reason I got out of the show because it's sandwiched between Off the Leash and Frenchie Bowl.
I think all these dog shows are gonna have, and I don't know, maybe it's the cost of a venue. But I don't know what it is that sets the price. I don't know enough about it. That was why I was hoping to talk to Zoe about it. Is like how he come to the, how is he going to make money off this show?
It is
the economics of it. But
because the bad part of it is, like Frenchie Bowl, and Marcus would probably tell everybody this, and I learned it because I was fixing to throw a show with all these guys, right? The drapes and curtain cost as much to mark off the booths as much as the venue did.
Dude, they didn't even. Hey man, I ain't even saying nothing bad about him, but like there was a table and 2 chairs.
Hey,
and I'm gonna just tell you right now, that's all we needed.
But that's all you need, and because most people bring their canopy setups, so no big deal. You know what I'm saying? At a show like that, I get why Frenchie Bowl has it. They're on another level.
That's a different deal. That's a different deal.
But for just a show like Zoe and them, money wise, nobody gives a shit if they have drapes or curtains around them. Really, in the end of the day, so.
I just needed a spot that was
mine.
Smart,
I
just needed a spot that was mine. We could come back, put the dogs in the kennels, the boys could sit down, have a drink in between, what they was doing. And that's all anybody needs, really.
It's funny because you brought up drag racing and racing in general. Most people have sponsors on their cars, right? I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people, the guys that can suck somebody's ass, whatever, you get big guys out there. Once they get the sponsorship dollars, you're probably not going to catch them again if they put that money in the right place.
Well, the thing is those guys, like once they get those cars at that level, they can't come to a race that pays $500 a win.
Right.
So these tracks got to start putting together these bigger purses, and then when the bigger purses come, you get all these bigger racers, and the guys that are there all the time just get pushed out, and because they can't afford to pay a $250 entry fee every Saturday.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
well, the dog show's doing the same damn thing, Kevin. What I'm telling you, like
they're using other kennels to advertise, which causes conflict at the end of the day, right? When they could just fill out some paperwork, Tractor Supply, PetSmart, Kong Toys, you name it. If you'll get with them, they have an advertising budget. Put their name on every trophy. They will buy every trophy you need. What Best Fluffy presented by Tractor Supply, blah, 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 Even if one doesn't want to give you enough money for all the trophies, you split it up. This is where they're missing out in the show world, and why I feel like they were trying to attract me to this show that I was going to be in, because I'd already had it lined up before. And just so everybody knows, we were going to do it in the ballpark in Arlington. And I had enough sponsorship money to pay for the venue. they were paid for the venue. All I needed was the trophies and the other stuff. But you don't need drapes and curtain when you're on a field. Just set up wherever the hell you want. We're going to set up a show ring and we're going to do it, you know. So I know the sponsorship money is out there, but you got to do it in advance. I mean, but if you're not planning the show a year in advance, you're not going to get a very big crowd anyways. So I think that's where they're missing. They're trying to get other kennels.
It is getting like Christmas, man. They already are advertising for November. Right. You know, it's like Walmart and Christmas. That shit's out at Halloween.
But I mean, you know, I think that's where they're missing out to eliminate the troubles of that class of somebody associated with whoever sponsored that trophy winning. Is just have a corporate sponsor. They're going to send you some money to go buy trophies, put their name on it, blah, 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 you know. You might have to submit a rendering of the trophies, you know, and show them what it's going to be like before they give you the money, but they'll give the money to you because that's how they advertise. I mean, this is their target audience for a lot of stuff. PetSmart, Kong Toys, Bullies, Frenchies, all that. Those are the toys. I mean, come on.
How's these all-breed dogs show going to work? To switch gears just a little bit, because it popped in my head and I seen which is so the Royal Rumble's gonna be all breeds, right?
That's what they said, and that's why.
And there's another. They're not the only ones. I want to say off the leash is going all breeds now. How
so they're doing that now to try to offset the bully and the Frenchie people they've ran off, right? But here's the thing: the reason you run them off is because you didn't pay them enough attention and cater to them. So you ran that crowd away. And they're just either not coming to shows anymore because they feel like all of them is rigged, or they didn't get what they were promised at a show. But I'm going to tell you this right now. And I said this going to show, and nothing against this lady. I know somebody will tell her but she shows up to poodles at these shows. One of the most easiest trained dogs in the world. I mean, it is a hunting dog. People don't understand that. A standard poodle is a hunting dog. But it's a true AKC dog. Take it to AKC and show the dog. If you're all that shit, why are you over here in these little shows acting like you're something and winning bullies and fluffy Frenchies, and all these exotic Frenchies and all these bullies? We can't go to an AKC show.
So what show do they like? So like if she brings a chocolate poodle, she's going to show against the Cocoa Frenchies?
Well, she's got her own class because she has 2 or 3 of them, so she has her own class, right? She's always in the best in show, right? And then she wins best in show. Come on, man. I mean, it's great. Let her be in the fun show. Don't let her be on the sanction side. But you also can't. I hate this all breed stuff because there's other shows for these breeds. These registries, USBR, ICBR, TCBR, whatever BR there is out there, ABR, I mean, all of them, they were created for a place for them to show their bullies, right? Well, then when the Frenchies come out and we started doing exotic stuffs and colors with them, well, great. Now we need a place for them to show too, really, because we can't go to AKC. If you're all that hot shit and you got all of these dogs that can go to it, I'll tell you what, if you go to the AKC show and win, and then you waste your time going to an ICBR show or TCBR show or whatever, you're just collecting trophies. I mean, and it's stupid. I mean, you're taking away from somebody that's put in a lot of work to go to that show. And everybody's going to be like, well, if they had a better dog, they'd win. Nah, I'm sorry. If there is a standard poodle in the ring and it works right, there's not a bully in the world that should beat that dog. I'm sorry.
But I mean, it's apples to oranges, though. Like, that's 2 different. How do you judge those dogs on their structure side by side?
I got a better question. How the hell does a bully judge that's only ever judged bullies judge a damn poodle?
Yeah.
Where's their knowledge in that?
Well, I mean, so if they have the knowledge, though, but how do you, because they're not the same structure of dog. So, like, how if even that judge has extreme knowledge on poodles and extreme knowledge on bullies, how do you do the comparison?
Well, I mean, I get it, because at the end at the AKC, there's one of every breed, right? I mean, or in the best in show, right? So you have to judge it, but you have to judge it on that dog's standard, right?
Yeah.
So you, in the best of show, you judge the poodle off the poodle standard.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That dog is a standard dog,
Right.
Where the bullies aren't.
Well,
that's not a.
So you
AKC
should have-
don't have a bully
Right.
class. They don't have a bully
But
registry.
there is a standard for the bullies that have been established by these registries that pop up, a new one every week. ABKC.
Are they uniform though?
ABKC is the truest form of the bully registry that came out, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They don't, I mean, they don't even let Fluffy Frenchie show in their stuff. I mean, the colors are not a big deal to them. They finally let Merle in, I believe, and all that, but no Fluffies. They're closer to an AKC style registry than any of the rest of them out there, right? They don't let you register a hybrid or a cross, an F1, USBR, TCBR. Hell, TCBR will let you register a dog that you bought with no papers. And they'll give you papers to it, which is dead wrong, because if I sell somebody a dog for a pet, they shouldn't be able to go and get a registration for that dog. It don't matter so much in the Frenchies, because nobody's going to buy that dog without AKC papers, and AKC isn't going to recognize TCBR papers. But Bully World, it does matter, because they can get those papers from TCBR. Go to ICBR, USBR, or wherever, and say, hey, I've got papers to this dog, right? Here you go. Which it doesn't matter. They've been hanging papers on dogs for years. Sooner or later, they're going to figure out how to do it. But to straight up give them papers to a dog that they didn't have papers to begin with, they shouldn't have. So there's that, but that's what's killing the dog shows and all of that. I mean, TCBR is trying to go to an all dog registry. Had that talk with Justin Ray when we were talking about something else. And he told me, we're not a bully registry. Really? Because your name is the Certified Bully Registry. What'd you start with? Don't put lipstick on a pig.
So why
call it something
expand
else.
that? Like, well, I mean,
Money.
Well, so how are you going to make money? Because if the standard is the AKCs for the Frenchies,
Right.
how are you going to, you're never going to get somebody to go, oh, my poodle's TCBR over AKC.
Look, Flair is ICBR, USBR, TCBR.
And none of those mean shit.
And I tell none of them anything.
Not to be disrespectful, but if you're selling a $10,000 puppy and nobody gives a shit about any of those other registries except for the AKC.
Flair,
And the funny thing is there's probably more papers hung in that fucking registry than any of those other ones you're talking about.
right, and that's the thing is, I got Flair's TCBR championship deal in there. It ain't. I could wipe my ass on it. It's cheaper than toilet paper. I don't want to diminish what him and Ari done in the ring to get that, because both of them worked their asses off. But I also learned that's when I learned shows are really rigged, and I know who done it. The majority of the shows that are rigged in TCBR are done by fat ass Toby Santos. It's the same thing he done to USBR. He drove USBR into the ground, and I don't care what anybody says, to the point they were almost non-existent. And then he drilled holes in the floor of the boat and then jumped ship to TCBR. They know what he does. Hell, that's what the conversation me and Justin Ray was having. They know what he does. If I call you and say, hey, one of your owners is rigging a show, if the first words out of your mouth isn't show me the proof, you already know what's happening. So that's why people don't come to shows. And you'll also notice there's more dogs in the fun show than there is the registry shows. Why? Because they know the registry, they're going to get screwed, because that's the show that matters.
So what's the point of rigging them? Like, so you're just trying to champ your dog out? Like, if you're that guy that's got those connections, you're just trying to champ your dog out? Because I've never.
I'm going to tell you this.
I've never selected a stud, not once. Like the first time we used Flair, it wasn't because he was a TCBR.
That's what I was going to
check.
say. I did not make a damn dollar, and I have not to this day. Nobody has messaged me and said, "Man, I'm using your dog because he's a champion in the show ring." What it did do was show people that I would put him in the show ring, and this was the knock, right? Because it was the big war between Flair, Teddy Grahams, and Willy Wonka. After Frenchie Bowl won, them two dogs disappeared off the map. But I kept Flair out. The whole reason I let Ari go with Flair and do the championship and all that is because I know them two guys were never going to bring those two dogs back out again. So it was a stick at them. I don't really care. Flair's got best in shows reserves, and he's lost at a lot of shows. But I can promise you this. I can burn all of his trophies but one, and he has more than Willy Wonka and Teddy Grahams.
Well,
combined.
I guess that's pretty interesting math right
so
there.
It is good to put your dog in the show ring to show people, hey, I'm not, because there's always photographers at the show. They're going to take a picture of your dog in the show ring. That ain't, and they're going to post it the way it was, you know?
Well, that's what I see the fun show is. I don't really rig the son of a bitch. Like, if you're that desperate, fine. But we go there because, like, nobody knows who we are.
Right.
And we get a chance to put our dogs in front. And we get to put our dogs up next to dogs that are supposed to be the shit. And we know, like, we got to breed. We got to change a little bit. Like, we ain't there yet.
Right.
And because here's the deal. I believe this with my whole heart. Because I seen it happen after the Jamboree.
Yeah.
Like, one of those class, man, getting those two first place, best in class, like, shit, you couldn't have. We didn't even know we were supposed to stay for best in show.
Right.
I had no fucking clue that was our ticket to the best in show with both dogs that we brung. But when we were walking out, like, there was more than one person stopped us and told us that one of the other classes that we got our ass stomped in and didn't even place, that we got robbed.
Right.
So it don't matter who they hand a fucking trophy to. When somebody
thing
sees
is,
if they like your style of dog, you got robbed in their eyes if somebody else beat
there's
you.
a lot of people at the show pays attention to the show ring because they want to know. That's where they get their best look at somebody's dog because they're putting them in every angle for them to look at. They get to see them walk. They get to do all that, right? They kind of get to see its demeanor. It's great. But I never sold a stud fee from putting Flair in. Taking Flair to all them shows cost me money and putting him in the show ring. Frenchie Bowl 2 was a prime example. We kept Flair and Sheamus in the show ring the whole show, right? So I was up there and all of that. After the show, I got a lot of messages. Hey, I was looking for y'all. I was wanting to lock in or whatever, but I ended up locking in another dog and I learned then. Now, if I have a stud that I know works, that he will not go into the show ring again because I'm missing out on money on the outside of the ring. Now, if you're trying to build your kennel's name and you're trying to teach your kids or you like to show or you're trying to show people what you're producing, that's a good way. Put them in the ring and go do it. But, you know, and this goes all the way back to what I was saying earlier about people, they get a name, but they ain't done shit. And again, Sugar Frenchie's one of them. She bought a dog. She ain't done nothing, but here she is. She's on every poster. And let's not bullshit ourselves. It's because of the way she looks. But I promise you, if I thought I looked good in a bodysuit, I would wear the damn thing and it would get me anywhere, but I don't.
You're going to think this is bullshit, but I'm going to have to go look this chick up because I don't know who the fuck she is.
Yeah, and you shouldn't know who she is. That's the funny part about it, is she gets treated a certain way, but you shouldn't know her by her dogs because her dogs ain't that. You know, none of them's ever done. This goes back to what I say. A lot of people are famous in their town, but nobody knows them outside of there. I mean, we got one of those breeders right here in Tyler. She famous in Tyler, but don't nobody know who the hell she is. Once you get to Mineola, nobody knows who the hell she is. And that's just right down the road. But what I'm saying is they're famous in their own head, and they can be, but their dog is trash and nobody outside of their little circle even gives a damn about it. most of the people that talk to her or give her free boost and shit are trying to get laid. That's the only reason they want her around. Everybody knows there's some dogs in the dog game, and that's why they cater to her. Her looks get her into a lot of places. She spent a lot of money on them.
That's true. That's true about
and it ain't just her.
Pretty people get a pass on a lot of shit.
I don't want to say that her looks is the only one that she's doing something that, because I promise you, man, if I was blonde and had big boobs, and I would sell my dogs for twice as much as I do to show a little. There's dumbass blonde in Lubbock. She ain't never had a successful litter, but man,
bullshit.
Hey,
end of the day, if you got the money, it was successful.
She goddamn sure got some stud fees she took out in trade. I can tell you that, but it's just easier. But they get fame. And it's not for the dogs. And I'm sorry, some people are going to think my comments is bad or whatever, but I figure if we're breeding dogs, that should be the primary focus, is what your dogs are and not what you are.
Well, we got when we first started trying to up the DNA in our camp, and we were chasing that teddy bear thing early on, like I don't know if it's real because I could give two shits.
Right.
But boy, there is a consensus that it's far harder for a woman in the dog game. I don't know because see, I ain't really won yet either. So I feel like it's pretty fucking hard for me.
I don't believe that one bit.
Well,
I mean, it might be hard for an ugly woman, but it ain't. I'm just saying. But hey, we got all these filters and stuff now on Facebook. I'll tell you why it's hard for them.
KevinFuckingEasterwood.com. You can send your hate mail there.
Because I'll tell you why it's hard for them. Because they look like a 10 on Facebook. And then when you get to the show, nobody even knows they're there because they don't look like their pictures. There's so many filters and all of that. I'll walk right by somebody. They'll start talking to me, and it'll take me a few minutes to figure out who they are because their in person doesn't. People bitch about dogs being photoshopped, and don't get me wrong. There's some men out there that's doing it too.
I've been hitched up or whatever the fuck you call it for too long because I'm gonna be honest with you, I just don't even give a shit.
I mean, I don't care that they do that, but
care.
If you want to talk to me in person. And all I've ever seen is a picture of you on Facebook and stuff that really ain't you. Don't get mad at me when I don't know who you are. Because in your pictures, you're a 5'4", 95-pound person. In person, you're 5'1" and 250 pounds and don't look like your picture.
Now, I'm going to say this. In not necessarily what's the lady's name, Sugar Frenchies you're talking about? I'm not coming to her defense because I don't know her and I don't know anything about her. But I will tell you this: I've seen it firsthand. That like with me and Erin, like she has her own dogs that she picks. She picks the breeding. She does all that, and I have mine. So we have basically two kennels. We work together, but she has. That's how we stay from fighting with each other.
Right.
Like she gets to make all the decisions with her dogs, and I make the decisions with mine, and we respect each other on that. We go back and forth and we talk about it. But at the end of the day, it's a 49% partnership on, dogs. I have seen her be talking to somebody and she got the money. And they keep deferring the conversation to me to the point where I've actually told dudes, she's spending money. I don't got nothing to do with this. This her. You got to talk to her.
Right.
And that has happened on more than one occasion. So I think there's truth. There's got to be some truth to it because I've seen it myself.
Well, maybe some of those guys just trying to be respectful and talk to you and because they didn't want to feel like they just feel uncomfortable talking to the woman, a little respect. Because back in the day, you didn't go talk to somebody else's wife.
Well,
so there's some of that. But I also agree some guys just ain't going to deal with a woman because they don't want to have to go out and tell somebody that they either got Jewed down by a woman or they had to overpay to a woman on a dog. So, but to Sugar Frenchies, her looks is not the problem because, I mean, I think she does some modeling. She got pictures. I mean, nothing against her body. None of that. Like I said, if I could wear a bodysuit and look like she did in the bodysuit, I would probably sell a hell of a lot more. Flair would have made $5 million. I guaranteed you if I look like her. And that's no bullshit. Flair in her hands, she'd have to change her attitude, but Flair in that type of a woman's hands with that build, and I'm going to tell you right now, every horny dick in a dog game would have been using him because they just wanted to go see her. They'd been doing in-person breedings.
That ain't no bullshit because I don't even know who this lady is, and I ain't going to say her name or her handle, but I see her on Facebook. And I don't know what level of breeder she is, but she's got a lot of followers.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know that I've ever seen her post a picture, but evidently she must be attractive because I seen a post, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about something was broke in her apartment and she needed help fixing it. And where her people at? And I bet you there was more fucking comments on that post than there is when you go, I got a bleeder.
Her name ain't Barbie Monroe, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Because that's one of them. That's one of them.
And then this week I seen a goddamn post. She was talking about every dog got to go. They got to go today. 24 hours. I don't know what the fuck her apartment's on fire. I don't know what the fuck had happened. But it was one of those stupid ass posts. Every dog. You're not gonna sell every dog in a day. But then evidently she didn't, and now she's griping about.
Oh, it's got to be the same one.
It's not
because she does it every 6 months.
It was, and she's griping about people in her inbox, dudes in her inbox. Like, I just seen 300 motherfuckers try to come change a light bulb at your house,
right? And
you're griping about one dude, the when you were selling a dog, telling you were pretty, and you're going, look what I got to deal with. Well, motherfucker, come on now. And then the next post, this post happened too. She's asking for somebody. She posted on Facebook to all these followers to go to Miami with her these dates because whoever was going backed out. And she was going to pay for the goddamn room and I guess the flight or whatever was already paid for. But I thought, man, hey, boy, that's brave. That's fucking brave. Like, it's either bullshit or it's brave. Or stupidity. It could be all those things.
I ain't going to lie.
There ain't no dude ever do that. And if a dude did do that, somebody going to turn his ass in because he got something cooking.
I've had offers to trade out stud fees for vagina. I'm going to be nice about it. And I told him, I'm 50. It doesn't even excite me that way no more. I don't care. That's another job for me.
Goddamn, we switched gears here, did we?
But besides, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And that's what I'm saying in the dog world. I ain't going to lie. I just lost a breeding because the stipulation on them breeding the Flair was they were going to come to town. They were going to stay a week. But I had to find them some drugs, and I ain't talking about weed. And I told them, weed, I could probably find you some of that, but y'all are getting into a little harder stuff, and I don't know where that shit is.
I don't either, but I know a guy.
I mean, I probably could find a guy, but I'm not getting hell. Because my favorite saying is, I'm not going to jail for selling dog semen. Because when I was messing with people, and people would be like, oh, they deal drugs. That ain't none of my business.
Yeah.
As long as I'm legit and all I'm selling is dog semen, I'm not going to jail for that. So I don't care. But man, the weird stuff and that's when the dog game has declined so bad. It's not. We're just in one of them lulls. You know what I'm saying? And it like you said in racing, it goes up and down.
There's
spikes.
a cleanse. There's a cleanse to it, right? Like when it's at all time high, you get everybody that wants to get in on that bubble, right? Yeah. And then when it bursts,
and they figure out it costs more money than you make.
Yeah, you mess around, you got 10 goddamn dogs, and you ain't making no money on all of them, and all of a sudden you got a $150 fucking stud fee, right? It's a special going on.
Oh my God!
I don't want to talk, but I met this gentleman. He's nice and all, but goddamn, he woke Facebook up with that fucking post, man.
I mean, come on, $150.
Listen, so I'm gonna argue both sides of it. I know I could see from your point of view where you would look at that, and I can't remember who it was. There's some breeder out there that just fucking just rags him. He keeps reposting it every chance he gets about a cheap stud. Like he screenshot it and he keeps posting it. I can't remember what his name is, but man, I understand what they're saying about not valuing your yard, but if you're starting from nothing, your yard don't have value. And if you can't sell them for 1,000 and you can't sell them for 500, what is the man supposed to do? Just not try?
Yeah, well, the point behind that is once you start at 150, everybody knows they can get you back to 150.
They can on that dog, but the thing would be is if he could get going like that. I've seen that dog. The sad part is I couldn't believe it when I seen it because I seen the dog.
Right.
The dog is not like there's way worse. There's way worse studs out there.
Oh, I know there is. I seen the picture of the stud.
People,
I mean,
some of them motherfuckers wanting $2,000-$3,000. It's way worse than that dog.
you know, and this is, it's kind of odd for me because my first stud hit, you know what and hit big. So, that is, but I'm now, I guess you could relate it to drugs or whatever. I'm chasing a high that I'm never going to catch again. I'm never going to catch lightning in a bottle again like we did with Flair. The market is just not there. Let me rephrase that.
The need for the DNA is not there.
I don't think I don't think the dog will be as successful as Flair as far as amount of breedings. But if I have the dog I want off of one of these 2 litters that are fixing to drop, I could run some good stud credits. I mean, I could make some good money on that dog, whether I sell it outright or I keep it and stud it out. But I feel for people.
If he's doing such a bad thing, and I understand, like it was a Merle big rope.
But here's the problem with that guy sharing that, right? He don't have nobody on his page, right? So when he posts that, who cares? He don't have no. But as soon as somebody that's bigger than him starts posting that, you know how many people out there doing a pup back because they didn't want to pay a stud fee? Now they'll pay the $150 stud fee because. And
hey, listen, I will do it if I could find like the problem with that dog in my yard is I have dogs with better DNA,
right?
But if I didn't have those fucking studs available to me, I would have bought all 5 of those motherfuckers.
But you got to think, you know, there's people out there that only breed for pet homes. They've got customers that don't even care about papers and stuff. $150 stud fee. Hell yeah, I'll breed that dog all day because these people are going to buy them. They don't care what they look like. They just want a Frenchie and say they got a Frenchie. So it's my motto. And this was a proven fact. And this is why I always give Isaac credit for part of Flair's success. And he didn't even know he was doing it at the time, what he'd done. When I went after him online and I got him to engage with me, now mind you, I only had 78 friends on Facebook. When I got him to engage with me, it sent everybody on his friends list to go see who's this nobody that Isaac's trying to get in a fight with, because I ain't going to say he was trashing me because I had the upper hand in that one. And I was letting it into him. That's how I got his attention. And we had this argument on Facebook. Well, now, where it was just Willy Wonka and Teddy Grahams in the fight, here comes Flair. And I come out of left field. They didn't even see it coming. But if Isaac never responds to me, yeah, I'm still going to show up to Frenchie Bowl 1, and I'm still going to put Flair on the table. But by Frenchie Bowl 1, I had already had 25 lock-ins on Flair. But I got him because Isaac acknowledged that I had a dog that was... He won't make that mistake again with me, but I have to catch myself because I'll do that. I'll see that, like that post for $150. I have to block that person because I know if I don't...
Well, why you hate that? So what's he supposed to do? Like, what is he supposed to just never work his dog? Because what he shouldn't be doing, because that's the
Here's
thing.
my motto.
They attack him. Wait. They attack him, and he shouldn't be breeding. That's what they're saying. Like, you shouldn't be breeding if you can't do this. No, what
He
he
should
shouldn't
not-
be doing is marketing. Because he sucks at marketing.
Right.
But I seen the dog. I would breed to the dog. And I guarantee you, if you seen the dog, you had a fucking husky female around here that you wanted to make a koi out of with a big rope.
Yeah.
That's for $150.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
You take advantage of that.
So here's my motto on that. Everybody thinks the stud game's easy, so they go buy a stud. Not realizing now that there's tons of studs out there.
That's what happened to him. It's like,
and the days of the $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 stud fees is gone. And there's even the one I got coming up. It's going to be one of the first ones, but I don't even know if it's going to be one of the first ones. It might be one of the first ones that's really pushed hard that everybody knows is out there. But again, 3 years ago, I would have, and I had, if the market was still the same and this dog comes, a Rojo, koi, fluffy, big rope, carries pink, that's a $10,000 stud fee all day.
So let me ask you. So the guy that's pretty much just trolling him, right? Like every cheap stud that comes up, I see him.
He's making him money.
Well, no. But so I want to know from his point of view, like what exactly is it? What exactly do you want this guy to do? You know what I'm saying? How is he affecting you? One, he's not, because if his dog, if he can't market, it don't matter what dog he's got. If he had flair and he can't market it, and $150 is all he's ever going to do.
Here's a prime example of that. Rusty Coleman is pissed off because my one stud flair outworks his 45. So he's always doing that same crap to me. Always got some shit to talk that he ain't got no proof on or whatever. But when he does that, he's only sending people to me because his dogs are trash. And he ain't got a stud that can stand next to Flair. So even if he has a Rojo and tan, when he talks shit about me and people go and see Flair that normally wouldn't see him, they use Flair. He has sold as many stud credits to Flair as anybody else. I mean, why do that?
But what I was driving at here is that guy. So the guy is just trolling Mr. Rude. But you ain't got shit to say about Isaac because you're talking about the man at $150. But I bought a full pink credit to a full fucking pink, Isabella EA.
Yeah.
For $1,500 fucking dollars.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be the top of the DNA right now.
It wasn't even a secret.
Right.
Like it was a fucking fire sale that anybody could have bought. So how is this man ruining the fucking game with his little $150? They ain't gonna affect no fucking body. But you ain't got nothing to say about a motherfucking breeder that'll bury you if you talk shit.
Right.
Because he $1,500. I mean, goddamn, I've sold stud credits for that point to my fucking dogs. Like what?
I mean, and that's. I'm sorry to tell everybody this. Me and Brandon talk about it all the time. I think we're still on the high end, up in the 3K range on our studs, but we don't sell. You know what I'm saying? They'll go find somebody else. I mean, we're being really selective in who's getting some stuff right now. So we keep them high. If you want it, you're going to pay for it, right? You can go get it somewhere else, but with structure and everything already. But again, if we had these structured dogs with this DNA and that was what was hot 3 years ago, these studs would be $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a piece, and people would be using them.
I think all these, I'm gonna just go out on a limb. I think all these mid-level fucking breeders like that are full of shit when they're talking about I ain't selling my shit for less than 25. Right.
They're full of shit.
They're so full of shit because if Isaac breeders like that. If they got to come down to $1,500 to storm the market,
so
your
Isaac
fucking ass is not. You're not outperforming that level of breeder. You're just not.
Let's just put it out there now. Isaac and them are saying in public what they used to say in messages. You know what I'm saying?
I bet I would say that's probably
100% of that. I went through that with Flair and Willy Wonka. Had a guy hit me up. Wonka was supposed to be at $12,000. I had Flair at $8,000. The guy told me, he said, well, I'll just use Wonka. And I was like, well, you're not going to get Wonka for $8,000. And he's like, I can get Wonka for $2,500. And I was like, man, you're full of shit. He's like, bro. And he sent me the messages. I told him, well, you're going to have to use Willy Wonka then.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, he ain't full of shit. And I know that because when we were buying dogs early on, we were messing with his partner about a shack daughter.
Yeah.
And they wanted $6,000 for that dog. And we had a better offer for another dog that we thought was comparable.
Right.
And they threw in a motherfucking, and if it had been anything, we were trying to get them, there was some other big rope dog they were trying to push.
Rolls Royce.
Maybe. I don't remember.
He only had one nut.
Oh, okay. Well, he was new though.
Yeah.
They hadn't even started promoting him. They sent us pictures
Right.
of him and said, "Hey, because when they offered us Willy Wonka, I was like, no, thank you, because I already had a Willy
Right.
Wonka daughter and a bad experience."
Right.
And I don't know that it was that blood, but it
is.
Your experience is what
Yeah.
shapes you, right? And I was like, I tried some shit and it didn't work, so I'm like, I'm not fucking with that blood
Right.
no more. So when they offered that, I'm like, no, that make it 5,000 in that,
Right.
But they offered that other stud, and we almost took that. So like that guy's not bullshitting.
And that's when I figured out, man. But I also figured out Aaron J and them, hands down. I don't care what people think about them. They came into the Frenchie game at the right time, made the right moves, and built a little bit of an empire there. But I learned that because before Flair,
now, I think that guy moves different though. Like I don't think I ain't sucking his nuts or nothing, but like in all honesty, like I think he kind of comes off as a douche online, and it's probably by design.
Right.
I guess I hope it's by design. But if the way he does business, I do believe is completely different from all these other people we mentioned.
I do.
I think he's in a different lane.
I mean,
I don't think he's better or worse. I
No.
think it's a different path.
I think as with anybody, you get the version of him that you bring out of him. As with anybody,
I don't know him at all. I spoke to him one time about direct deposit. That was it. But I'm just saying, from what I see online and what
I knew him and I knew his partner Anthony, because the first time I met Anthony was at a dog show, and their first dogs was named Charlie Brown. He was a chocolate brindle, and I have his sister Nibs here at my house, littermate's sister. So we had dogs off the same litter, but the lady that we bought them from, they were going to do some kennel partner stuff with them, whatever, I don't know. But when I met him and his wife at the first bully show that I could tell they ever went to, because I thought it was funny, and now I guess they were projecting, because he wore a suit and she wore a damn, like a prom dress type thing, like you'd wear on the red carpet. And I thought, man, y'all are out of place. And now that I look back and they're driving Lambos and stuff, they were projecting the life they wanted to live. And there they were. I mean, they dressed the part and they ended up there. But Aaron was always, and I tell everybody this, I'm real tiptoe around Aaron. Me and him could give readers on Facebook material for years if we ever went at it, because neither one of us is going to shut up, right?
Oh, he can be. I seen him be.
And he's petty, and he'd have me on a fucking shirt, and I'd have my fucking car wrapped with his shit, and just some stupid shit would go on. But when I finally met him in person, did a little battling over a stud. Flair's uncle, Suge Knight, was a black and tan when King Kong was going, but he didn't carry blue. But I would undercut Aaron. And that's when I found out these motherfuckers drop their stud fees quick as hell. But when I met Aaron, I was buying a lot of shipping boxes for Flair. And I just happened to be in Dallas, and I was like, hey, can I pick some up? I need to pick up another 30. And he's like, yeah. He's like, how about I meet you at my favorite place to eat, and I'll buy y'all breakfast. Okay. Well, of course, he shows up, Rolls Royce with 40 shipping boxes piled all up in it, 30 of them. We load him up. His favorite place to eat was Cracker Barrel, by the way. So if anybody thinks I was going to some fancy
still?
place,
You had to get with him, reach out to him.
I don't
want to know if
but,
it's still Cracker Barrel.
What I thought he was, but everybody can tell you somebody can act or whatever, and they can. But I'm sorry, he didn't make this much money doing complete bad business every day, and I don't care. You sell as many dogs and stud fees as that group has sold.
Yeah, that's it.
You're going to piss some people off. That's just the way it is. And no business is ever going to go without somebody being mad. Something just didn't go right.
I kind of look at it the same way I did you online. Like I didn't like you very much online, and he's kind of a Chinese riddle, enigma,
Yes,
oxymoron. Because one day he'll be just trashing some motherfucker, and the next day is some post about not letting people fucking trash you, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. One day I'm like, fuck you, and the next day I'm like, well, that makes sense. I don't fucking know.
Some of us figured out the cheat code to social media. Drama sells. So if you can mix some little drama in there, but do great business, when people meet you in person and or get to talking to you, they say, oh, you just be bullshitting online. Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously he is, because one day he's over throwing birds in the air, telling somebody they're a piece of shit, and the next day he's over talking about, man, I'm just trying to make my money. Why are you so mad?
I'm the same. One day I'm cussing some dudes out that's selling dogs out of a trailer in the parking lot, and the next day I'm, being nice, selling stud fees and thanking everybody for their support. But
so for me, the jury's still out on him. I'll be honest with you, when I text him, and that's what it was a text exchange about using his dog. He was sending where you record your message, and I thought that was weird. But like he was polite. He was fucking business cordial. I didn't have no problem with him.
And like I said, he is, and just like me, we're probably not everybody's cup of tea, but somebody shot a whiskey or something. I mean, people will like us, and I tell people this: the same water that boils and hardens eggs softens potatoes. So I mean, two different outcomes, and like I tell everybody with me, you're going to get the version of me that you want out of me.
You finished that up strong, by the way. I thought you was finna George W. Bush that up. I thought for sure. But you was fixing to fool me once, can't fool me twice.
But so people can do whatever they want. He's got his customer base. He's got his avid supporters. Everybody, all these big breeders do, and I don't like throwing my name in there, but I've got people that they know what kind of business I do, so no matter what the hell's ever said about me, they know better because they have a different version of me. Some people get a version of me they don't like, but it's because that's the version you asked for. Because I tried to be nice, especially on any dog business. I'd try every way in the world to make it right. When I see you just don't want to make it right, then fuck you. I ain't got time for you. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, I can go there, and sometimes I ain't so bad anymore. I don't do it so bad on. Man, I used to annihilate some motherfuckers on Facebook and just make them look stupid. But I got a lot of attention that way. It's funny because
I ain't never gonna make it on Facebook because I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't got time for that.
So when I started with Flair, and I started going after Isaac, this is Justin Crawford's playbook. 101, I watched him with Maui dog people just to get their attention and shit, right? That's what he needed. He needed attention to build and he built a little empire out of it. He's another one that really built something. I mean, people can talk about him. I've talked about him. But he built a name and it's still hanging there. But when I came and I went after Isaac...
Well, I guess he figured out that drama sells because...
There you go.
There's enough drama on that fucking off the leash.
This is the funny part of it is when I was starting it, this is when that... we doing this for the community. Now they want to be a community when they got some nobody that come out of left field and is just dog walking their ass. Oh, it's all love. We shouldn't be talking shit about it. But this is y'all's playbook. This is how y'all got to where y'all are. And now y'all don't like it when somebody's doing it better. And I was wearing their ass out. They put me on off the leash media, Photoshop dreads on me. And I sold like 15 or 20 stud credits that day. It was Super Bowl Sunday. I was in the damn casino when my phone started blowing up. I was on off the leash because I talked some shit about Justin Crawford. And I couldn't figure out why people was wanting to use Flair. Ruben Fry called me, and he don't really... I mean, we had talked in person, and Flair's got some of his bloodlines in there, and he was like, man, I'm just going to post up. I'm using him too. And I'm like, what is going on? Then Cruz called me and told me, dude, you're on off the leash. I went and looked, and I was like, oh. Well, I went on there. I talked some more crap. they thought they were going to paint me as a racist, and everybody on there was like, man, this dude was just at my house. Y'all crazy. Y'all reaching with this shit. And at that point, I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but don't make it what I do or what I say. I don't end up on Off the Leash.
Man, listen, I don't know what the particulars of it are. I don't know if it was owner induced or if they went and got that post from off the social media and posted it, but I kind of knew what that shit was about whenever they posted that Paddington dog. And god damn, man, that thing, there was 300, if I remember right, there was like 356 comments. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. Somebody go back and look. That motherfucker, one positive. One person said I saw the dog in person. And I think it was a partner. Yeah. But it was one comment. Everybody clowned that dog, and if they let them pay and put it up, then they knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Like you let them people walk right into a goddamn trap.
So here's the funny thing: is Justin Crawford runs Off the Leash Media. He said it multiple times. That is his. He's got final say in all that. What kills me about him, and he's smart, I guess. I don't know, but he'll make a post trashing somebody on Off the Leash Media.
Well, that ain't about the community, is what I was getting at. That ain't about no community.
And then come under his regular name, and try to build that breeder back up and talk the opposite way. And I'm like, bro, they know you trashed them. This is your post on your site.
I ain't defending the dog. Let's be 100% clear
here. Now,
I'm not defending that dog. But like I in my novice phase then knew that's not a finished product. And they did too. Right. He had Maui. He had fucking dogs. He fucking knew when he posted that on that deal, like, it was not going to be favorable.
I mean, and that's the thing is, but that's a lot of what people don't understand. There's a lot of these bigger breeders were right there in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, right? So eventually they got to eat each other, or they got to go at each other too, especially now because the money ain't just free flowing like it was before. And I said it, they're starting to eat each other, and there is no boundaries between them anymore.
Well, maybe this shit is why the fun shows are rigged, is like what you allege, because when you raise the stakes online like this, it gets to where you can't afford to lose.
Right.
If you go after somebody online,
right,
and then you go to a dog show and get walked down, that's a real bad fucking look for you.
Well, but I will also tell any show host, I don't care, in the state of Texas, if you hold a dog show and you pay people have to pay to get into it, and it is found out that it is rigged, your ass can go to jail. That is a felony.
Well, yeah, it's fraud, right?
Yeah, but it falls under the horse racing stuff and all of that. The dog things too. It cannot be a paid contest and already be predetermined.
Fuck around and catch a RICO charge.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what they don't understand. It can become RICO very fast, especially if that dog's coming in from out of state. So this is where people need to pay attention. So when a big show says, "Oh, we're bringing in these dogs from California," if there's a conversation somewhere and it gets out that you guaranteed that dog from California to win when it got to Texas, now you're looking at RICO, you're looking at organized crime. We're going over state lines and stuff. And I promise you, the burden of proof on that is very, very low to get an indictment and get a charge on that. I know because I went to jail for running a game room, and the owner was in Ohio. We got... So, well, trust me.
Spirit of full disclosure there.
You don't want to... It's very easy for them to prosecute that. Because... And here's the other thing. So, say the show has 3 show hosts, right? 3 people are throwing that show. But only one of them sets this deal up. The other 2 don't have to know that was a setup. They just have to facilitate making sure that the show goes on. Now they get drawn into it, and they will get drawn into it because it takes a certain amount to get the RICO and the organized crime. So everything that they do, they don't have to know that they're doing it. They just have to be a part of it that facilitated that to happen. And it's very bad. So my suggestion is just don't do it. Just tell your buddy, hey, if you want a trophy, I'll give you one after the show that I got left over. Don't take him in the ring and give him a trophy, because sooner or later, some asshole's going to press charges.
Well, now it's time for a disclaimer. We are not lawyers, and the legal advice spewed on this show is for entertainment purposes only.
I can tell you 100% about that statue with the dog deal, because I did have a conversation not too long ago with the district attorney in Lubbock about this very thing and the messages that were sent back and forth. See, funny thing is, in Lubbock, the DA don't give a shit so much about the rigged show, but he's chasing the dog. He's chasing the drug money through the dogs. A lot of people are hiding it there. We all know. I mean, some of these people are trying to turn their life around and make a better life and do dogs and not that. And some of them are flaunting their money around and buying some high-dollar dogs, and that's where they're hiding their money, and then turning it into clean money by breeding those dogs. The DA in Lubbock is following that. That's not a... I mean, there's been a lot of dog breeders raided and stuff, and that's what they're looking at.
That's a hard way to launder money, I would think. Like, hell, I ain't
I mean,
even got dirty money, and I can't hold on to my money, man. These dogs.
Well, you got to think, and if they are a good drug dealer, they know the people that's got the money because they're buying the damn drugs from them. But or other dealers that are wanting to get into it. So for them to sell dogs for $10,000-$20,000 a piece, Frenchie was not hard sell to these other. So it's crazy to find out that, you know, the law enforcement is that in tune with the dog world and what's going on over there. But it's just, it's crazy. Sometimes you learn stupid shit when you don't want to, but
evidently sometimes you learn it the hard way.
Yeah, you know, but funny thing is, the shows was rigged against Flair, but it didn't mean to me what it meant to the other guy. And I lost a lot of respect for the other guy, even though I know he works his ass off in the show ring and his dogs do well. But if you have to tilt it in your favor, why even show up? What do you get out of it? You know, just go to Walmart or get on Amazon and order you a trophy, because...
Well, I mean, some people are just wired different. You have to accept that. Like, some people... And I'm not like having a moral argument to the deal, but like some people, winning is winning at all costs, no matter what, and it has the same value that you would view as what you view as winning honest is not what somebody else might view as winning. Like what you say is, oh, that's, you know, dirty pool, that's bullshit. That's why people cheat.
So this is how I know it, and I'm just going to tell. This is why Flair's championship is tainted in my eyes. The last few points he needed, Ari couldn't go show him, and I wasn't going to take him to Abilene to the show, right? And I had to go out to Toby Santos' house and do a breeding for another guy, and we get to talking, and I was like, you know, I said another couple shows or whatever, 2-3 shows, we'll have Flair champed out. Now, if he makes it to the best in show round in Abilene, he champs out. And Toby looked me in my eyes and he's like, "You're going to Abilene?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Take him to Abilene. He'll champ out this weekend." And I didn't think nothing of it, you know, at the time. And then I get to Abilene and we get to the best in show round. Now, mind you, there were some Frenchies there that we had never beat at any show under this same judge. And I'm showing him and not Ari. So, I mean, he works for me, but it just wasn't as good a presentation as them two. And I left there thinking, and I knew who the judge was, and he was buddies with Toby. That conversation happened. And they knew exactly how far they were going to get me in that show to get me what I wanted. I mean, it was a good look for TCBR because Flair was their first fluffy champion, and Flair was everything, and I was advertising and all of that. But that's why I don't really, to me, in my mind, those last few points are tainted.
Well, there's some TCBR shows coming up.
And I will never step foot in another one of their buildings. I mean, again, there's just some things I'm not going to do. And that's why you don't see me out there saying, oh, Flair's a TCBR champion.
Well, maybe you need to get with Ari and see if you can't put that back one more time for a reunion tour and let them go get them points that, for whatever reason, you needed to go show.
I would, and I haven't talked to her yet, but I would. This Frenchie Bowl is Flair's last hurrah. After that, he's done. No more shows, no more nothing. And I will reach out to her. I want her to show Flair for his last time in the ring. I think it would be fitting.
Is he going to have his own class?
I don't know.
He better not. That's what you just said.
I don't give a shit if he does or not.
You're going to have to pick a side now.
And I want people to understand this. Flair had his own category, and I did not judge that category for the simple fact I didn't want anybody to leave there saying, well, he picked that one because of that. I picked a guy. Me and him had just met that weekend. I mean, he's a respected judge, Chris, and all of that. But me and him spent a lot of time at the hotel, and I was showing him Flair. We were standing by an elevator, and damn near every Frenchie that got off the elevator, I was like, that's a Flair kid, that's a Flair grandkid, that's a Flair kid. That's, you know, but I talked to him, and he was looking, and he was a bully guy, but he's wanting to get into Frenchies, and he was like, so when it comes
to validate this man like this, all you got to do is say, who won that fucking class? Who did he pick?
Little Ricky.
And then what did that motherfucker do right after he left there? He's still winning classes.
Yeah,
right?
you know, I mean, he went straight to Florida.
Fucking choice. You can't argue.
No, and that's the thing. And I hate to tell everybody this, but I did say it once before. It would have been a hard choice between Little Ricky and Sheamus for me, and that's why I couldn't do it.
Well, I don't think that is a personal. They're different dogs.
They're different dogs.
So that's gonna come down to a fucking preference. And I think you could argue for either one of those dogs. I like Sheamus because I'm more.
So this is something that, and I let Chris judge it how he wanted. My idea was to pull the top 4 or 5 out and make them walk the ring. And in that instant, Ricky was just starting and Rob was just working with him, and he was getting him pretty good. He was a little squirrely on the leash sometime, but Rob had done everything. Sheamus had been polished up a little more. But then you had White Boy Rick, and there was a couple more. There was a champion, 2 champion Flair sons there, or grandsons, that worked really good in the ring. One of them didn't have a chance to win. The other one had a chance. I tell everybody this. It would have been hard for me to pick against Sheamus. But Little Ricky was the best representation of what Flair is.
I think, in my opinion, like I don't remember even seeing him work, and I can't remember what his name is, but they had it was the big rope, Ric Flair. Hell, he was in your booth.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it was Ricky,
her.
Sheamus, and her. Those to me. Those were my 3.
So I mean, they did win Slick Rick.
Slick Rick, there you go.
So Slick Rick got, I think, 2nd or 3rd in that class. It was Little Ricky, Slick Rick, and Suge, the black and tan, off of Koi Grams that we sold. So I mean, that was, but people get on judges, and I don't, I mean, unless it's blatantly obvious that they picked a dog that we know they shouldn't have picked. It's a preference thing. And I could have had 5 different people judge that Flair class, and I honestly believe those 5 people would have probably picked Little Ricky. There's a couple.
Any of those 3 that I.
Right, you know.
If any of those could have won it.
Right, you know, and that's, I think Ari showed up late into the category and was on the end. I think if Chris would have spent a little more time, she would have placed. but she come running in the end all the way over there, and he was kind of doing his thing and didn't really. I mean, she had just won the Koi Grams category with a Ric Flair grandkid, but so I mean, it was what it was. But I didn't want to leave there. All these were I considered friends, my customers or whatever that, and I didn't want them leaving there thinking, well, he didn't think my Flair kid was. I couldn't do that. Which if we had another Flair class, I would judge it. I think I should judge it, but I couldn't then. And everybody's got to understand, I only had 2 weeks to prepare for that.
I don't want you to judge it, because if I'm showing one of the Flair kids in there, I don't want people.
And
if I were the place, I don't want people saying that. It's
and that's
the
other
fucking
thing.
Know you.
And that was, I guess, the good thing for Rob is that I didn't judge it, because me and Rob talked all the time. I was promoting him all the time. So if little Ricky won under another judge that I had just met really and threw him in there, he didn't even know until 15 minutes before that category he was going to even judge it. It validated little Ricky for him. You know what I'm saying? And then for him to turn around and go to Miami and win the Best in Show in Miami, that cemented in he had what he had, you know. So kudos to him and the work he does. But I have a thing for chocolate pies, and I would have probably pissed Rob off that day, because I probably would have picked Sheamus. No lie, nothing against little Ricky. There's just some history with me and Sheamus, and that's the bad thing. But here we go to that. If I pick Sheamus, I used to own that dog. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? But that is the way it is. But Rob's dog, I mean, I call on her mama with his mama with Cruz. So there was just too many ties to that Flair class for me to pick anything. So we got way off from the shows there, but not really.
It's still. We circle back around, I think.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. You can pick any. The one show we ain't even mentioned is Rumble in the Jungle.
Well, I haven't been to one of those yet, so I couldn't speak on it until.
Man, I'm going to tip my hat to June Williams, because I knew June Williams before he was this June Williams, right? I mean, when he was breeding dogs, and he did really great. He built his name. Here we go. He built his name off the dogs he had. And he got respected as a breeder. And now he is June Williams, the show guru.
But that's why it works, though, right?
Right.
Like I've had this conversation with you. If you're throwing a show and you don't have the admiration of your peers,
right,
it's hard.
It's a hard.
You're right. To show, like, I guess, respect.
But I mean, and you give him the respect that he went to a show one time and gave the Best in Show to a pit bull. Pissed the world off. The whole bully world was pissed off at him, because that's what we were trying to get away from and get to these dogs. He said, but that dog worked the best in the ring. If you didn't want him to win, don't take the man's money and put him in the ring. Yeah. But he's the only one that could walk the whole damn ring. So he won, you know. So he does stand on business. His shows are packed and a little wild for my taste.
I seen where he don't have very many boots left already.
Never. And I'm going to tell you, and again, inside that show ring.
That 100 and something for this year. How many they got? They got 168 or something. I don't know. Like, I'm just making numbers up now. But it's a lot. And I think there's
you'll hear stuff, bad things that might happen around the show ring or at the venue at one of his shows. But you don't hear people griping about inside the show ring, and he's got that down, and they so many classes he runs through, and there's really not a big bitch. I don't ever remember somebody saying, "Oh, that dog didn't deserve to win it." You just don't get that at Rumble in the Jungle like you do. You get the outside, because there's so many people there and so many styles of dogs, and some healthy, some not healthy. I mean, there's just so much chaos that goes on the outside of the ring, but if you wanted it animal-wise, it's probably in the building that day. Snakes, birds. If you want to watch a Rottweiler give puppies, they've had that happen there too.
Man, come on. I did see that one on. I watched that on YouTube.
So
I thought that was a little far.
I mean, you never know what's going to show up. But I do give it to him, because he usually has some vet staff and stuff on hand now. He's tried to do it the best he could. I just don't. I don't like that big a noisy crowd, and it gets rowdy in there. So it flares my PTSD up, and I can't stay in there. I got to get out of there. It's too much for me.
I don't have PTSD, but I can't handle that being too tight. That's why I like that. I like being able to move around.
That's why I love Frenchie Bowl
without touching people.
And I hope Marcus hears that. And I tell Marcus this all the time. Frenchie Bowl 1 was the best one because you could literally do business in that place. They were playing music.
Well, now, hey, so that's something to mention about Bully Dex and the guy that threw the show. That was a big thing. That there was music,
right?
But it was you could talk over it.
That's what I like.
You could, unless you were right in front of the DJ's booth,
right?
But all the rest of the building, I could walk around there. I bought leads. I spoke to a few people before the show started, and I never had to ask, and I never had to raise my voice or ask them to raise theirs. It was the level. The noise level in that building was very good.
There's literally videos out there recorded in front of our booth, which was the booth that Rob was in this year at Frenchie Bowl was the booth I had at Frenchie Bowl 1, booth 3. And the DJ was right there, same place. But we had videos recorded during the show at our booth, and you could hear everything in that video. You could hear the music in the background, but you could hear the video and us talking. And I don't want to go to a concert, and most of these dogs get agitated with that loud of music, and it's just constant all day. I get it. There's times to turn it up a little bit. Hey, but when the show's going on and there's dogs in the ring and everybody's trying to hear they're not being called in, and
it's pretty loud this year.
So I just think the show host could do better. And Tony, nothing against DJ Aztec, he does a great job, and
it was the same DJ.
Yeah,
that was him. He was at Bully Dex.
And
it was the same guy.
Again, if they go over there and tell him, "Hey, tone it down a little bit," he will. But he's a DJ, so the louder he can get it, the more you're going to let him do, the more he's going to take. And I don't blame him for that. He's doing he's promoting himself by doing what he's doing. That's up to the show host in controlling the level of the music.
Now, I did have a conversation with Zoe, and he did tell me that because when he asked me how his show compared to the other ones I've been to, and I told him, I said, man, I appreciate being able to talk to my sons and not yell at them.
Right.
And he said that he constantly would go over and remind him hey, it's getting a little loud. It's getting a little loud. Now, that's what he says. I don't know, but whatever happened, they policed the noise very well. And that's something that other shows can learn from that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's online all the time. Somebody can ask, what would you change about a show that you went to? That is the number one thing that everybody gripes about. If we want to go to a concert, we can go to a concert. If you're going to have a concert that you can bring dogs to, you shouldn't be really having a show. Just have them come and show up and play your loud music and do whatever. But that is my biggest gripe about the dog shows is the music. I can handle everything else. I can even leave there saying, hey, I know they rigged it for that dude. We just go to a different place next time, whatever. No biggie. But, again, that a lot of people put in a lot of time showing their dogs and all that. And to show up to a show and know that they should have won and they got screwed over, that's what's killing the shows. That's all it is. When was the last time, just for example, you said, I got to go to that show because that breeder's going to be there? Unless you were specifically wanting to see a dog.
I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't never said that.
Exactly. I'm sorry they have all these special guests come out. I mean, and they're going to be there. Who gives a damn? What are they bringing? Because 90% of the time, these idiots end up showing up and don't even bring a dog to the venue. They promise you they're going to bring this top stud out they got, and then they don't even bring it. So they show up empty-handed. They've been given all of this, travel to come in, all of that, and a free booth and all of that. What for? Their booth's empty. You can tell. You can tell the breeders that don't give a shit about structure or anything else, and they just like the hype because that's the ones that's over there talking to an empty dog booth.
Most of those studs, like El Jefe, like
he ain't gonna bring him out.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're never gonna see those. You never see those. I ain't even picking on him. Like
and that's
when
what
was
I'm
the last
saying.
time? When was the last time you seen any of these studs last year? There was anything like at the show? I didn't see any. Sub-Zero. I could take that
again.
back.
That's you look at, but Sub-Zero was a top winning stud.
Well, but those other ones,
he was not a. He was used, but he ain't a top stud. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Well,
he wins a lot of most known stud, right?
I'm talking about so working studs like that people pursue,
Right.
they follow online.
I mean, he worked, but let's. Pete's dogs win a lot, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But
what other stud?
But
off the top of your head is at most shows?
None, and that's what I'm going to say. So let's just all the bullshit aside, and I'm going to tell you, I learned from Pete Ellis because he took a black and tan dog in Mr. Banks and started taking him to shows, showing him to everybody, and all that. That was something I learned and I paid attention to, and I thought, man, I need to do that with Flair, right? So we're going to go to all these shows. I've got a message. We left Frenchie Bowl 1, where we really wasn't allowed to show, and went to Miami and won the best Rojo, right? So that's Flair's first trophy. And I messaged Pete and told him, and I was like, man, you was the inspiration to have me put him in the show ring because it showcased the dog, right? But he worked with this dog, so yes. But that used to be the MO, right? They would bring them dogs out at 6 or 7 months, show the people. The dogs were still big as hell, but they were trying to say they were older or something than they was. You know what I'm saying? Then the dogs disappear and never make it to another show. That was how they managed to do that. Then all you get is a bunch of Photoshop pictures. So you look at me and Pete, when we start bringing those studs out, Mr. Banks, Sub-Zero, Flair, to every show, now we start digging in those other guys' pockets because they're going to use the dog they could see in person.
Okay, so that's where I don't have a problem with somebody giving a booth to somebody with a dog like that.
Right.
If you're going to all the shows and you're putting your dog in front of people, I think that's a draw because then I can come put my hands on your dog. I can come look at your dog before I use it. That's what I'm driving it. Like most of the dogs that I see online that people are pursuing or that is considered a top working stud, you never gonna see them some bitches.
And there's been some dogs I've seen online. I was like, I don't know about that dog, but then you see it in person and you're like, oh shit, that's nice. Kudos to them for not photoshopping the dog. Might have got it at a wrong angle and there was something off about it I didn't like, but when I seen it in person, holy shit.
Well, and people tell you fucked up shit too if they don't like it. Like,
right.
El Jefe, I was told that he was big.
Right.
I got that. He's not big.
Right.
I mean, he's not finished, but he's not fucking big. Like there was something you could say other shit about him that might have been true. Why that he's big got started? I don't fucking get that. So that's obviously somebody that.
Oh, they done that to me. They told everybody Flair's got a long muzzle, and I mean, Mo and them pulled out all the stops. Told him I had a long muzzle. Said he's got a long ass tail. Funny thing is, the productions was the tell of who had the tail.
Yeah,
so
shit.
I mean,
I can attest.
Everything they tried to say about Flair was Wonka. They knew what they had there, and they were just assuming because Flair was 2-time Shaq also that he was going to throw the same traits that Wonka did. Difference is Flair's pedigree, and other than Shaq in his pedigree 2 times, there ain't, the female side where we started. I can promise you, Willy Wonka's mama and back into her pedigree ain't what Flair's was. So
who has those studs that they should be at the shows but they're not? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the question because I'm gonna be honest with you, I hadn't seen him in person, but that cash cow dog, like that motherfucker seems like some bitch to me. Now if he's Photoshop, fuck him. It is what it is. But I mean, his kids don't look fucked up. I've seen litters of his.
I'm gonna put it this way.
I feel like
if all you ever see is pretty much the same recycled photos, and you never see a picture of him or somebody posting a picture of that dog at a dog show, chances are that dog ain't all that. Now I give it, you got people that don't like to go. Aaron, we mentioned him earlier, Aaron J. He's not a big dog, but he will pop in. Anthony tends to take more of their dogs to the dog show, but they're real careful about what they take out because the last thing somebody that's trying to, especially if they've already been put in that category as a top producer on studs and pushing studs, the last thing they want to do is show up at a show and have some nobody stack their dog next to their supposed to be new top stud and show that it ain't what it is. Again, we're going to go back to Flair.
Well, those are business decisions, right? Like, that's not. Then you don't have. If you feel that way, then you know you don't got top shit.
So
If
you're
you're worried like that, because everybody can lose, everybody can win.
Yeah, let's look at it with just the Flair, the Willy Wonka, and the Teddy Grahams. When we was at Frenchie Bowl 1, Flair was a lot smaller than them. He was 6 months old. Teddy Grahams wasn't but a few weeks older than him. Wonka might have been a month or two older than him. But they were both bigger dogs. So in their mind, when they left there, now they lied about their age. I didn't, because I was new to this thing. I didn't know we were supposed to be lying, and I didn't want to lie about the age, right? So you got to figure when they left there, they knew we can't bring these dogs back out no more, because if we run into him again, these dogs are going to grow again because they're fixing to hit that next spurt. He's still going to be smaller than them, and he's younger than them, or the same age as them. And we're telling everybody that our dogs is older. Well, that's great. Your dogs can be older, but they're also going to be a hell of a lot bigger. So that's why it's smart on their part to never bring them back out and put them next to Flair again, because I'd ended their careers a lot earlier.
So you think that would kill it, really? Because I like a bigger dog, and I understand.
And I tell everybody this: I don't think Teddy Grahams didn't get a whole lot bigger. He did get bigger. I mean, Flair got bigger from there. Flair got a hell of a lot bigger than he was at Frenchie Bowl 1. But I knew where he was going to go.
Well, I guess what I'm driving at is like, so like, if Flair's a bigger dog, then the other dog you're pushing now, Carrot. But I prefer Flair over Carrot because he's bigger.
So they were portraying those dogs as a little Ricky, right? Little Ricky ain't gonna get no bigger. He's got where he is. He's gonna get wider, get a bigger head. But they were trying to portray this is what they had, when in reality, it was never going to be that close, right? They were claiming to be small, and they're going to stay small, and they're going to be all that and not. Again, I always told everybody if I had to breed to another Rojo, it would have been Teddy Grahams, because I liked the way that was. Wonka was never going to be it because he was photoshopped in so many different versions you didn't even know. And then the dog that people showed up to in person, they wasn't even allowed to take pictures of because he didn't look nothing like any of his other shit. So that you could just tell while he was two-time Shaq, the rest of his pedigree was scattered because there was no consistency in that dog. Teddy Graham's puppies, you could tell he's throwing some stuff that looks like him. And Wonka's throwing stuff that looks like him too. Just people don't know it because all they ever really get to see is the Photoshop version of him. But I promise you, if you got a Wonka kid, I almost guarantee you, if it's a little tall, a little long, a little lanky, it looks just like him. So it's but you don't. And that's what that was the next thing they were, because Justin said it. If you got one of the top studs in the world, you don't need to take him out to shows. All you do, unless you photoshopped him. If you got something to hide, don't take him. That's what Pete Ellis is great about. That's what I was great about with Flair is we didn't care. There's our dog. You either love it or you hate it, but this is what we got to offer.
The defense is that if somebody's going to catch it at a bad angle, but I mean, I don't know how valid that is. Like,
me and Brandon argue about this because I just had to drop Carrot off for a photo shoot. One that I did not want to happen, but I cone him with Brandon. So if Brandon wants this dude to take pictures of the dog, I have to let him, right? And I tell him, I don't need those pictures to promote Carrot. I never had Flair behind a professional lens. Nobody could ever say they found a Photoshop picture of Flair other than the one that Mo and them put out when they stretched his muzzle out and they Photoshopped him. And I had to tell them, fucking You want to know whose dog's Photoshop? Who just made a Photoshop picture of my dog? But the point to this is,
why do you think he don't do that? Put his dogs in a ring? Because I mean, Carrot's not. It's not like he's
he was putting Koi Grams in there. He had his own category at Frenchie Bowl, so again he couldn't go in the ring.
Well, no, but I'm okay. Not just Frenchie
But
Bowl, but I'm talking about like okay.
They're just getting to this point where they got quality to put in the ring.
To do that with Koi Grams is not. He's already established,
Right.
But when you're coming up like with Carrot,
Right.
Like it seems like that'd be. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the way things have flipped, like that's how you're gonna get. And with Photoshop, everybody's scared of it. And you know what? Even if they're not, if they see a stud,
That's how I combated Photoshopping, was to put my dog in the ring.
Yes.
You're 100%. Same way Pete Ellis does it to combat the Photoshopping of these other dogs out there, is to show up and put them in the ring. And be bold enough to say, bring your dog and let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it again.
It don't matter who wins that, because everybody has a preference. And if Carrot is their preference, it don't even matter if he's the best dog in the ring. He is to them. Right. And that's, to me, I think that's how you're going to have to do it now.
We had
everything's
a
a fucking circle.
Right.
If you used to have to do it that fucking way, the market's fucking down. Regardless of what everybody says, it's down. It's busted.
Yeah.
The bubble popped.
Yeah.
And so, like, you got to come around on the other side, and it's just a cycle.
People don't believe the photos and stuff. They don't want to send their money, or they don't want to give their money to something that has been hidden its entirety. You know what I'm saying? So now it's easier.
And if they are, they're going to do it to a known fucking brand.
Right. So, like, I've got Carrot here, and I've got these other studs. They will pay me to use Flair before they will one of the other ones, because the simple fact is they know what Flair is. They know what he produced, and they ain't sure. You know what I'm saying? So they want to go with a known commodity, and we'll see when you produce something off of one of these other studs. If we like it, then we'll come back around. And that's what I told Brandon. If all the studs fees are going to be around the same, Flair's going to outsell every one of my other studs. Still to this day, because of that very fact. He's been out. So many people have seen him, and they go back and tell their friends or whatever. And I get a lot of those calls. Well, I want to use Flair because my buddy's seen him, or my buddy used him. He's really badass. And if you go and look at the Flair class at Frenchie Bowl, none of his kids or grandkids are even close to the same size as him. They're all smaller than him.
It seems like it'd be beneficial to put that dog in some junior handler's hands and let them go show the dog.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we done with Flair. I sold so many stud fees.
Or a trainer, a fucking, you're going to have to pay them, right? But like a real fucking trainer. And
it was almost like Flair was brand new after Frenchie Bowl again. And it was more because they got to see a collection of his productions, right? And not a one of them that showed up in there carried Flair's size or his weight. They were all smaller. It means he's a great producer. So that's eventually you got to do it. I mean, there's been dogs out there advertised as, he's smallest in the world, but he never threw that. You know, no consistency in throwing that size or smaller. I know Flair's on the big size, but he don't throw that size. It's always seems to be smaller. He's probably got some out there that's his size, maybe even a little bigger, taller, I don't know. But for the majority, you're not going to get a big dog out of Flair. It just hasn't happened. So the shows in general have a great benefit. If people would go to the show thinking about how can I make it benefit me, instead of how great the show is or isn't, of who the show host is or isn't, if you just look at it as, look, I'm walking into this place to advertise my brand. Whatever else happens. Just put your best foot forward and display your dogs and talk to people and network. You will get further in the dog game than worrying about who won a trophy. That's rigged, not rigged, whatever. And I'm so competitive, but that was what I had to come to.
How many breeders you think right now are breeding with other breeders? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's as. I find it hard to believe that I think that's the problem. Like right now.
So they used to have control. Let's like Aaron.
There you go. There you go. It's way diluted
Right.
now.
So like Aaron J, Rusty Coleman, Justin Crawford, Isaac, Thunder Frenchies up in this area, they had the lockdown on the stud game, right? They understood it before everybody else understood it. Then everybody was like, well, shit, they're making easy money on it. Here we go. Their stud fee's $5,000. I'm going to get a stud that's close to that, and I'm going to run it for $2,000. Okay. Now it starts to trickle effect, and now we're at $150 stud fees out there.
Man, the guy's he was in a bad way, man. He's trying to get that dog to do something.
Well, I understand that.
You know,
I
understand it. I think it was a bad move, personally. But I understand it, and I guess I don't judge him for it because at the end of the day, he's not affecting none of my dogs.
No, and that's what I said. The people that only got the $150 to spend with him, that's what they're going to spend with him. They were never going to spend me.
The people that need him,
right,
were never going to fucking be your customer.
Right, and that's the other thing people have to realize is these people that do that, okay, fine. They're pissed off at him for doing $150. What about all the guys that do these putbacks but never get a putback? They get screwed in the end. People just sell them off as pet, right? They just gave their stud away. I don't care what they say. You know what I'm saying? If your stud is so great and it's supposed to be so good, if a majority of its breedings are putbacks, he ain't all that.
Hey, man, I don't have a problem with putbacks, but I will say this. All these goddamn stud owners need to quit. When these people post got a bleeder, want a putback, and they won't post a picture of the bitch, and you're 40 or 50 deep offers. Like, but, hey, man, you're thirsty there. Like
you look at it. Okay, so that dude, he was just honest. Just give me 150, right?
Yeah.
Most of these people are thinking, hell, if I get a dog, I can sell that some bitch quick for $500, right?
Yes.
So they wait 8 weeks.
500,000.
Yeah, they even whatever. They don't care. They don't think they have anything into it because there's just some dog semen that they put in the dog and whatever they make off of it's profit. And some people think of it as, hey, I can only get $150 for my dog. I'll do that putback. Now I can sell that dog for $1,000. So he'd have been better off doing putbacks, or he'd have been better off just advertising, hey, I got some really low deals. Hit my inbox. I'll hook you up. Never put the price online.
He was naive in thinking that I think he thought he was like running a special that could get him some. I don't think he realized that, man, people are gonna eat your ass.
Yeah, I mean that is, and you're gonna have those guys that attach themselves to that, and like I said,
instead of dragging him through every comment you can repost, he should have. Somebody like that, maybe give him some advice. If you think he's doing some shit wrong, then give him some goddamn advice.
That's what I was supposed to say. What they're going to do is somebody that hates this dude that's dragging him through the mud is going to reach out to this dude and put him under their wing and put him on some game or something. It always happens. And the next thing you know, this guy that was selling stud fees for $150 is talking shit about this dude over here because he can't sell puppies or do shit anymore because his avenue, instead of promoting his brand and worrying about his dogs, he's worried about old boy over here, and then old boy catches him and passes him. We used to have a saying in the military: don't piss on somebody's boots today that can outrank you tomorrow.
Hey, and that translates over into puppies too. I get so tired of people talking about, you see somebody post a pup for $1,000, or somebody look. Matter of fact, I just saw this. Right. It was a lady looking for a pup as a pet. She had $1,000 budget. She wanted. Now she had a pretty long list, a very specific list of what she wanted. I understand people jumping on her, but goddamn, like if she wanted a fluffy, and I can't remember what else it was, but she had $1,000 budget, and I thought, well, good luck.
Okay, so I mean, everybody's got fluffy now.
I know. So everybody's jumping on it, but then it turns to everybody that said PM me, right? Or DM me. Like, man, people was getting on there talking about, all you breeders that are selling you shit at that, blah, blah, bleed this. Hey, man, if that dog they're selling, if they're undervaluing it, Go buy the motherfucker and resell it and shut the fuck up.
So, go look at their page. If you think that puppy...
That lady was never going to buy your dog.
Right.
She was never going to give you $3,500.
Yeah, she's not my customer.
She don't have the money for that.
And that's what I tell everybody. I can have 2 litters a year and make more money off of them 2 litters a year of quality dogs than some of these people out here that's pumping out 15 litters a year, but they're selling them for $1,000 a piece. You know what I'm saying? We might make the same money. I did hella a lot less work than they did, but I also built a clientele to get to there, and some people don't want to mess with that. But once you start selling,
why hate on those people? Though?
I don't.
They ain't even in your
because
fucking lane.
They're
right?
going to sell to people that my people won't. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because my people are thinking, well, I'm not buying that dog for $1,000 because there's something wrong with it. It ain't going to turn out right. I'm just not. You know, some of these people that got money, if they don't get to spend big money, they don't think it's worth it. So, and not to say that. And a lot of people found this out. You can spend $20, $30, $40, $50,000 on a dog, and it can be the most trash dog you ever bought in the world. But I like to think that we've proven time and time again the quality that we put out there. I mean, there's some litters that I sold that I'm a little embarrassed by, but it wasn't my stud. You know, I mean, we used somebody else's stud. I know the female was good because, yeah. You know, there's been a couple studs that I thought, fuck.
Well, they're not all. Anybody tells you they only have hitters is full of shit. That ought to be the first sign.
Yeah, but
somebody tells you that they've never produced or they don't continue. Like you can't control genetics to that point. You can get consistency, but you're not going to get absolute.
I pride myself on saying that my females will overcome most any stud's pedigree. Because the way they're bred and they're so tight and the look, right? We're going to at least get 1 or 2 out of that litter that I can say, all right, that's workable. I can sell for big money. I have bred to 2 dogs in this world. One of them, I got good money out of them. But the other one, I had to give all the damn puppies away. And it was, what the hell was that dog's name? Oh, he was a big rope, one of the first big ropes that came out. But anyways, I thought it was Ric Flair's sister that we bred him to. Ric Flair's littermate sister. She can overcome whatever might happen. Biggie Smalls was him. What? Hell no. Man, that was the worst $7,000 we ever spent in our life. And I've lost $7,000 at a casino in a night. But that $7,000 sucked.
You say I'm not trying to make a connection there, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I just had it pop in my head that I guess I got to change my algorithm because you know what dog I hadn't seen in forever is Botox.
Oh, that's because he was Botoxed and it went down.
Is it?
And so they're not going to show him anymore.
What? No, that ain't true. Is that true?
I don't even know who the hell you're talking about.
You don't know who I'm talking. You don't know the dog I'm talking about?
No.
Man, there for a long time when we first started buying Frenchies, fucking everybody was talking about that big rope.
I really think you. If I remember right, I really think he was Botoxed.
It's disappointing.
I mean,
I don't know if it.
That's the bad thing is a lot of people. That's why when people breed to a big rope now, they want a guarantee of a big rope. Because a lot of people were Botoxing their dogs to make them look like big ropes. And they did, if they had a nice natural rope already, Botox that and it looked like a big rope. Well, nobody ever got the big rope out of them.
Well, no, this dog, it was a big rope, but like it was like overdone. So I guess maybe it was pumped up. I don't know. But he was a big deal for a while. Like he was all in my feed. I thought that was the way to go.
I was going to say that earlier. I would love to go back. We're going on nearly 4 years now. Flair's fixing to be 4. To go back, so 3 years. That Super Bowl Sunday when Off the Leash Media put out the top Rojo studs, Isabella Rojo studs. I would like to go back. I wish Justin would go back and say, hey, get with all these breeders that had that list. Here we are 3 years down the road. Show me your true AKC breedings from that list from 3 years ago that they said was the top dogs in the world that were going to be the best studs or whatever. I would love it to happen because I think there was 20 on that list and Flair wasn't on it. But I can promise you, I bet the next Flair could take the next top 3.
I bet he needs the fucking OG list now.
So I don't think I would make it.
Call it the 2020 list, man.
You know, I don't. It's funny because they're still putting out Rojo list, the best Rojo, the best, and Flair still don't make them.
Where they putting this shit out at?
He still does it on Off the Leash.
I don't, man.
It wasn't too long ago. So
Instagram, I don't follow Instagram that well.
I laugh because they put all these Rojo studs out there, and I know Flair's still outworking those dogs. I know how many breedings Flair's doing, and I know how many breedings they ain't doing. They're lying about it, but if they want to pull up the AKC records, I still say, I mean, there's been a few Rojos. Top Gun came out.
Is that open to the public?
What?
The AKC records. Can you go? Because I know I can go. You know, I can follow your dog in the AKC.
Yeah, but I don't think you can see his breeding records. But, I mean, they did. I mean, like, YOLO, she pulled his up on
I ain't talking about, like, go to see what he bred, too. I'm
just how many breedings he had. Yeah, I'm not sure. But, and some of these dogs change owners, so the breedings stay with the owners also. So you have to be careful and not say. But YOLO had, like, 271 breedings. He was 6 or 7, I think, when he had that many. We ain't quite there yet. We're about to hit that 200 mark, but we ain't quite there yet. So, but fucking Flair's just fixing to turn 4. And a majority of those breedings was done. I mean, he still does great. I mean, he's done 14 since Frenchy Bowl. And he has these spurts. When I go to a big show like that and everybody gets to see him again, where's all these other Rojos? Because they still ain't none of them coming and walking me down. And I'm sorry, there was a Wonka kid there. There was a big rope. He was short, but that's all he had going for him. So, but I don't know of any Rojo class that Flair's ever been in that he lost.
You're getting to the point now, though, that even with all those dogs that you've mentioned, they could be greatly changed. They could not even look like, you could have a Flair kid now that's 3-4 generations deep,
yeah,
and not even look like him no more.
Right.
I mean, fucking Ricky, like you know, the color is what they share. Like,
yeah, I mean, he is a 2 times Flair, but and he looks like a mini Flair. I would say.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's mini, like he don't look
right. I mean, he's not the same. But that's what everybody wanted, right? That's what everybody was shooting for. So for me, to say he's 2 times Flair, saying you doubled up on the Flair up front. That was a half brother, half sister, Flair daughter to Flair son. And that's what you got out of it, right? It just kept going smaller. That tells me my lines are going in the right direction. As to where some of these studs, if you 2 times them, you ain't going to like the outcome of it. I mean, a lot of people done that, and it's crazy because Shaq and King Kong were brothers. But again, take them out of the equation, because take Shaq out of his equation. I don't think it's where that comes from. He just didn't screw up our lines. He didn't screw them up. But I've seen a lot of 2 times King Kong dogs. They don't look that great, right? They're big and all of that. It just didn't pan out for everybody. You know, I mean, look, Teddy Grahams got Shaq in his blood, but he didn't advertise it. What good was it going to do him to advertise the Shaq blood in there when we both had 2 times Shaq? So what even mention it? It was 3 back, but.
Jesus Christ, you know how much fucking that Shaq blood's in my yard?
I just want people to understand it. So everybody's always talking. Let's just run this down. Shaq and King Kong were littermate brothers. They have been responsible for I don't know how much money. You just look at it. Supposedly, Willy Wonka was bought for $450,000, right? Supposedly made $1 million. Look at Flair, how much he's made. Teddy Grahams is out there off of Shaq. There's so many King Kong sons out there you can't count them. Then you go to the other side of it. Their littermate sister, produced Top Gun, the Rojo Big Rope. so much money made off of that one litter of dogs trickled out through the dog game. That has, you got to think of how many pedigrees King Kong shows up in, Shaq shows up in, Flair shows up in, Willy Wonka shows up in, Teddy Grahams, Top Gun. There's almost not a rojo in this Fluffy that don't have one of those dogs in its pedigree.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, just in my yard between, well, I mean, I got Flair kids, I got fucking Teddy Graham's son, I got Bandit kids.
Yeah.
Like all of those.
Yeah, it's all King Kong, Shaq.
Every one of them originated from there.
And that's what I tell people. And it ain't just here. I know Flair went worldwide. I would assume Teddy Grahams and Wonka probably sold some overseas in different countries because they had a bigger following than I did, right? So if I was doing it with Flair, I'm sure they did. King Kong did, I know. Shaq did, I know. So this blood is worldwide, and nobody can hide from it. It's there somewhere. And same way with YOLO. There was a lot of dogs out there that had YOLO blood. Because that was the only dog to you then, you know. And like Shaq and King Kong, they were fluffies with good, decent-looking fluffies with testable in them. So that's why they were used. Everybody trying to create an Isabella Fluffy or Rojo Fluffy. So, but yeah, that's just one thing. I mean, that's, you got to look, when you hit, you hit. And those guys hit. I mean, they made good money off their litter, but that litter has produced hitters, and that it's just a big chain. I bet that litter, I would say that litter alone has generated, I would go out on a limb and say, just on studs alone that's out there, not all the puppies and everything that was sold, I bet the studs have probably made $15 or $20 million combined. I mean, then there's hundreds of them, but just the top ones, take Flair, Wonka, Teddy Grahams, hell, them dogs has probably made $3 million by themselves to combine together.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think we're in the market to do that. I mean, you can have a good litter. Per se, our dog, the female that was fixing to have a litter, but her first litter, she had little Ricky's mama. She had Minnie Graham's mama. And she had, she was, okay, so off of that litter, the females, one of them is little Ricky's mama, one of them is Minnie Graham's mama, and one of them was the koi girl we had at there, and the little black and tan male. So they're putting stuff out there. They're putting studs out now. But that litter is hot, and we got one of the sisters we ain't even bred yet. So it just continues on, but it is what it is. But I guess we probably rambled on long enough now that we can.
I think we can call it an episode.
Yeah, and we will try to get Zoe on here so he can talk about his show and defend that category against whatever anybody says.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, he may have a take and a reason that it don't bother him that you don't
probably
think of.
didn't, and it probably shouldn't have bothered him. Again, a lot of people don't know who the girl was and the kennel and who Seamus is. I mean, they should, but they probably don't, and especially down in that area. I can promise them they can go to another show. That girl will kick their ass again with that dog. So I'm not pointing out anything bad about that, but not to go back down that road again. But yeah, we got him coming on, and then we'll have an episode with.
Oh yeah, well I talked to him this evening, so I don't know when we're gonna be able to work it out, but Yuri Wallace. Yeah,
Yuri Wallace is coming on. Got an episode I'm gonna do when I ever get him to settle down and come down. We're gonna get Gabriel Cruz on here. So we'll have some great episodes.
I believe it when I see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's probably going to be hard if I don't catch him this week. It's probably not going to happen because him and his wife's having a baby on the 18th. Well, his wife's having a baby, but she'll tell him to be at the hospital because she wears the pants. But no, that one was for you, Cruz. But anyways, we'll get some more people on there, and anybody else that might want to jump on and put their opinion. Let us know. Hit us up. You can hit me up on Facebook or Benny Hood on Facebook. So, but all right. Until next time, we'll see y'all.
Welcome inside the kennel, the heartbeat of the dog gang, where real breeders break down real experiences, and the experts drop the knowledge you can't Google. We talking structure, bloodlines, nutrition, training, wins, losses, and everything that makes champions in and out of the ring. This is for the ones who live it, breathe it, and build it, one lid at a time. Your host, Kevin, Ben, and Roderick. Lock in.